Top of the morning to you. It's a beautiful Sunday morning. The air is clean and clear because of the rain a couple days ago. The birds are singing sweetly in the trees. The dogs are doing their best to trip me up because that's what I pay them to do. And they're good at it. They're good at their jobs. Let's start off with a little upholders discussion. They did reach out to me yesterday in a very long email that requested and basically demanded that I pull down any videos I had that talked about them. And in order for me to get who they are, their identities, I would have to meet with them where we would discuss their identities. And here's the kicker, here's the important part, retaining my services as an attorney. Now, what does that tell you? That tells you that, number one, they're still sketchy as fuck. They are not transparent. They are lying. They're obfuscating. They're not going to give the public, who they want money from, any of their information. They're trying to get me on their side. They're trying to buy me to stop the negative press about them. Well, it doesn't work that way, kids. The second thing they're trying to do is, if they are in good faith discussing my employment as an attorney, then they have created what's called attorney-client privilege. I have to keep everything I learn about them confidential. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? So if you think that they were going to reveal themselves through me via that, then no. I responded back with, I think, a very strongly worded reply. It was short, it was succinct, but I think it got the point across. And yet here this morning, there's another email from them still trying to get me to meet with them. And if there's a no strings attached meeting, like on Discord in public, I may do so. Again, well, I don't think that no, we're not going to go play in the sprinklers. It's too cold for that. Well, I don't think that the website will be effective or long-lived, especially once police officers and police officers unions start complaining about it. Then, yeah, it's just going to be money wasted. But I don't have any real issue with it, like on a moral point of view or anything like that, or a political or a legal point of view. I think it's in all other ways fine. I just don't think it'd be successful. So, I mean, it's not like I have an axe to grind with upholders. I don't even know who they are. How could I have an axe to grind with them? Everybody who thinks I have some devious underlying rationale behind doing this, I've yet to see anybody put forward anything that could even remotely explain my actions other than I'm in this for the best interest of the community. And by the best interest of the community, obviously I put it as my perceived ideas of what the best interests of the community are. Like this morning, Patty here was peeing on one side of a bush, and Holly there was trying desperately, fighting against her leash to get to the other side of the bush to pee. Now, the pee was coming through the bush, but she wasn't looking at that, and she was desperately trying to get to the exact spot where Patty would have pissed all over her. I didn't allow that. I'm sure she wasn't very happy with me over that because, well, she knew what she wanted and I was preventing it. Sometimes what's in the best interest of you may not appear to be in the best interest of you. Like eating broccoli. Doesn't appear to be in your best interest, but it may well be. That's something that Fat Parasite hasn't learned. To eat broccoli gets in the way of his Twinkie eating habits. So that's upholders.org. They still smell like a scam to me. I'm not going to say they are a scam because I don't know who they are. And it's just every indication they're giving me is they're a scam. I wonder if they would agree to allowing auditors, First Amendment auditors, to go through their offices when they're set up and to film everyone in that office and all the paperwork in that office. Jeff Gray style. Yeah, I just want to take pictures of your accounting logs. You think they'd allow that? I mean, if they agreed to that, boy, my reservations would be would sure be reduced. I mean, I'd still want to know who they are, but if they agreed to that level of transparency, my God, right? And if you're out there still squirming over this, trying to figure out how upholders.org is the good guy and I'm the bad guy, try to rationalize why you think it's okay or it's appropriate to go into a post office and film, or a police station and film, or a DHS immigration office and film. But somehow it's not okay to go into upholders.org to film. Because, I mean, they're taking your money, right? It's your money. They're operating on your donations. You should have a right. That's all I'm saying. Feel free to argue with me in the comments. I know you will. Speaking of DHS, the memo. My God, let it die, kids. Number one, it is an FPS memo. Number two, it only applies to the FPS. Number three, it only applies in relationship to 41 CFR 102-74.420. Oh, you're getting pocket time. Pocket time, that's the face of somebody who's making pocket time. Hey, buddy, it's pocket time. Front pocket. There you go. Enjoy this, kids. MMI did a hilarious parody of this. I loved it. Oh, that's stinky. That's a very fresh Earl. Very fresh. Okay, get these untangled, get situated again. Sorry for the crinkle, but, well, a doggy's gonna do what a doggy's gonna do. We have, and we're good. All right. So, the DHS memo. The primary thrust of the DHS memo menu. Well, first of all, what is a memo? A memo it's an internal communication that FPS made and sent out to the FPS, explaining how they were going to deal with a situation. It's not law. It's just how they're going to deal with it, how they want their employees to deal with it. And they can always change their minds. It's a memo. They can send out another memo, just like they did in 2018. They sent out another memo, updating, revising, clarifying. Isn't that amazing? There's no review of it. There's no political review of it. It's just the director of the FPS signs off on it. That's it. It's just a policy memo. And it deals with, my voice cracked there. I'm almost a full-grown boy. It deals with the CFR, the 41 CFR 102-74.420. A Code of Federal Regulations is policy that's made into law. It does have some opportunity for people to comment on it. It does give people an opportunity to comment on it, but it is written by the agency, written for the agency, and unless it conflicts with statute or the Constitution, it is law. So if you're wondering what 41 CFR 102-74.420 means, and you go to, say, court, and you get some sort of judicial determination of what it means. At the end of the day, the agency, in this case it would be the GSA, could just revisit it and rewrite it. So that's the difference between a memo and a regulation. But the regulation, again, very limited impact. At worst, if somebody in the FPS does do something that is against the memo, that the memo says not to do, then what happens is they might get their pee-pee slapped. They might get a slap on the wrist. They might get a write-up. They might just be told not to do it again. Who knows? You'll never find out. But it's silly. Now, I understand and I appreciate the art that people like Freeman and Granite State Transparency, etc., use in convincing people that the DHS memo is somehow relevant to the DHS when it's not, but it's not. Again, the DHS memo is for the FPS. The FPS provides security for the GSA. On a property where there is FPS, then the FPS will abide by the memo. Unless what's going on is in tenant-occupied spaces. Now, there can be hallways, lobbies, auditoriums, foyers, etc. in a tenant-occupied space. If the tenant's occupying that space, though, it's just like the hallway in your apartment. The hallway outside is community, and people have to abide by the community guidelines. But inside your apartment, in your hallway, in your front entryway, in your foyer, if you have an auditorium in your apartment, then you get to set the rules that you want because you're paying for that space. It's your space. So again, the GSA memo applies to the common areas, the outside areas, the areas that are communal. They're shared by the various agencies who are leasing the building or the property. If, say, for example, a post office has leased the entirety of the property from the GSA, which a lot of post offices are on GSA property, some of them aren't. But even if they are, then it's not the 41 CFR that applies, it's the 39 CFR that applies, because there is no communal property and there is no FPS. It is post office property because they've leased the whole thing. It's the difference between leasing an apartment in an apartment complex and leasing a house. There are no common areas if you've leased the house. So I hope that makes sense. And the DHS is not the FPS. The FPS is a substation or a sub-agency of the DHS. They're different. They're not the same. A memo written by the FPS does not apply to the whole DHS. Even if you want to call it a DHS memo, it doesn't apply to the DHS as a whole. It only applies to the FPS. It was really sad. The James Freeman, News Now Patrick, who, by the way, he posted a picture of Bobby Hill, and he cracked a joke about it, and I thought he got a very good response back from the community. It's always easier to roll with the mean comments on the internet and not take umbrage, and I think he's learning that, so good on you. Good on you, Bobby Hill. Anyway, but there was a audit that Freeman and Patrick and OKC did of a DHS immigration office. And the guy came outside for an interview. He came outside. He was literally, he started explaining the differences between the immigration agencies to OKC. And he was essentially going to give an interview. OKC could have asked him questions, but no. OKC was like, oh, I just want to go inside and take pictures of the signs on your walls. I mean, what a wasted opportunity. Good Lord. Anyway, I'm planning on going, well, I keep thinking about going over that video. I get so tired of going over the same thing again and again and again. The DHS memo doesn't apply. The DHS memo doesn't apply, and the DHS memo doesn't apply at all in that situation. Period. That was stupid. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.